When you think of a prison, do you think of growing fresh food? It'll happen inside the walls of Riverview Correctional Facility in Ogdensburg. 7 News reporter Sean Brinda tells us tonight it's a partnership between the prison and a local college.
If you need more seed or you don't have a budget for seed or something like that, let me know. I'll see what I can do to get you some more.
Professor Raymond Bodish is the Wagner Institute for Sustainability and Ecological Research Coordinator at SUNY Potsdam. He's explaining to Riverview Correctional vocational staff how to put together the facility's newest tools for growing food in the winter: 7 hydroponic tower gardens. The towers themselves grow food with concentrated amounts of water that are distributed across sections built on top of each other.
The quality of nutrition of things grown fresh and eaten right away, or what we call hyper-local foods, which are foods that are grown where they're eaten.
Professor Bowders says the 7 hydroponic towers will be used among inmates as part of Riverview Correctional Facility's horticulture vocation program.
We're one of the first medium facilities in the state to consider this program, and we think it will be a good learning tool for our incarcerated individuals. My instructor is very knowledgeable. He wants to pass that information on.
Burns believes inmates will increase their skill set as they complete their vocation program. When the towers are fully installed, foods such as lettuce, peppers, peas, and any other kind of vegetable or produce can be grown. Some of the food will go to local food banks. Sean Brinda, 7 News.